Today is Pie Day. This is a day to celebrate the national symbol and maybe eat a piece of pie.
I know, it's two good things all wrapped up in one day. It's great to get your kids excited about math. I know the kids are maybe doing something in school over the past week or so. Here with some ideas to do that, Alise McGregor from Little Newton's Early Education Center. Good morning. Good to see you again, Alise.
Good morning. You as well.
What is a good way to explain pie to kids?
So pi is a number, and it's the ratio of the circle circumference to the diameter.
Correct.
So it's easy to teach them. Today is a day about circles, and today is a day that we have a couple activities, one particularly about circles, but also about the actual numeric number of pi.
Okay, so you started here with, I would assume these are the younger kids.
Yep. And so they can trace circles. You could do a circle scavenger hunt. They can make different patterns with the circles, and while you're doing it, you're talking to them about how today is a circle day and why it is that. And then as the kids are kind of a little bit older, they can make these little people out of circles. Everything is circle related. And then moving on to patterns, kids love to learn patterns, learn different, repeating things like the number pi. And so we have a younger child here and an older child here, just showing how they both can, experience math coming to life with learning about pi.
Okay, there's the symbol.
Yep.
All right, and then what do we have? I would assume this represents making pie.
There are circles and baking going on at the same time, aren't there?
Exactly. And so children love to bake. At Little Newton's, we do a ton of science baking experiments with them. They love it. You can teach them about measurements. You can teach them about temperature, putting everything together. They could make pies as an experiment.
And next up we have lovely skylines. But these buildings aren't just random skylines down there. What are these buildings?
So it's a bar graph on the number pi. So it's 3.14159, and then they continue to make that pattern, and it looks like a skyline. And this is the younger child, and then the 6-year-old.
Doing their graphs, plotting out a pie. You can use your calculator. You can come up with that all at the same time. And staying in that math zone, fraction circles.
Yeah, so this is fun. This is all it requires is paper plates, and you can cut them into different fractions. You can show them how different fractions show.
I want this size slice of pie, please.
Correct. Or you could show them how 2/4 equal a half. You can make all different kinds of puzzles with them, all talking about circles and pies.
And how it all breaks up. That's kind of cool, too. Other things that we can do with that in the grand scheme of things, I know this is something that we did with Jack. We've got an extra moment here. We took out things, had to find things that were a circle in the house. This was second and third grade stuff. So we would find something that was a circle. We'd get a piece of string, and we'd take the string and we measure it around this way. Then we put it on a ruler and find out what the circumference was. Yeah. And then we would measure across this way and find the diameter of the object. And then when you divide the circumference by the diameter, then we wrote down what that answer was. And he consistently got around 3.14. And so after about the third or fourth time, that's when he realized,
he got it.
Yeah. And that's that little moment, that light bulb moment, especially for early elementary school kids, that's when he can kind of kick in. Because in a typical world, you don't learn a pie or its uses until you're a little older in a grand scheme of things. So that's really good. And this is some great stuff here. Also, it's Albert Einstein's birthday, by the way.
It is.
So a great chance to kind of teach kids about science in general.
Yes, and at Little Newton's, we're named after Isaac Newton. However, Albert Einstein has, the most famous equation, E equals mc squared. So we like to just kind of use the day to teach them about science, history, pie, math.
I'm glad to hear that you weren't named after Fig Newtons.
Correct.
That is really, all of a sudden it means a whole different thing. I thought it was after Fig Newtons.
The cookies are always good. Alise McGregor from Little Newtons, Little Isaac Newtons. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, now